Wasabi Wallet. Unfairly private.
The Foundation Passport is a Bitcoin hardware wallet that allows you to store your funds securely offline. Today, we're going to be taking a look at how to set up the device and how to use it with a couple of different software options, as well as using it in part of a multi-signature setup. I am Ben with the BTC Sessions, and this is your daily session.
HODL the Bitcoin.
Before we dive in, quick shout out to sponsors of the show, LEDN.io. You can use your Bitcoin for a variety of different services here. If you're in a pinch, you need dollars, and you don't want to sell your Bitcoin because that is a taxable event and you're worried about having to buy back at a higher price, you can, of course, use their Bitcoin-backed loans where you deposit and then get dollars into your bank account within 24 hours. When you pay those dollars back, you get back the same number of sats, which for me is the important number. Of course, they do also have their Bitcoin and USDC savings accounts with interest rates up to 9.5% annually paid monthly. And if you're feeling mega bullish, be sure to check out their B2X offering. You can check them out. Links are down below. If you opt to get a loan with that link, they'll give you $25 for free into your savings account. Now, if you're stacking sats in Canada, Bitbuy is an awesome and easy to use option. Their web interface is very simple. They have a dedicated app that you can get on your mobile device. And these guys, when it comes to security, no joke, they've been doing their proof of reserves audits a couple years running now. And again, just an altogether great experience. You can purchase after your first $250 purchase, they'll give you $20 for free into your account. I do live on Bitcoin. Bitrefill really helps me with this, and I can purchase just about any gift card I can imagine using Bitcoin, either on-chain or via Lightning Network, which is very convenient. And you do earn sats back as you shop, so be sure to check them out. Now, I am, of course, doing a video on the Foundation Passport, but as you'll see later in the video, it pairs nicely with the Keystone if you're doing a multi-sig setup. Keystone has a lot of the great same ideals that Foundation does in that they're doing an air-gapped model using QR codes, never having to plug into a device. So be sure to check them out as well. There'll be links down below. And finally, if you're backing up any Bitcoin wallet that is important to you and will have a meaningful amount of funds, then you want to get that backup in solid steel. It just gives you that peace of mind when it comes to fire or water damage or accidentally somebody discarding it, not knowing what it is. So I've heard some horror stories. Make sure you get yourself secure with something like a BillFodl over at privacypros.io. And with that, let's dive in. So I've got the Foundation Passport with me right here, and just looking at the device, you've got your main screen. It looks a lot like an old school Nokia cell phone. You've got your keypad there, up and down arrows, a couple different buttons on the sides. In terms of the back, you've got your camera to scan QR codes right there. At the top, you've got an SD card slot where you can put in your micro SD cards, and this back is actually magnetic and it just pops off. And you've got a couple included AAA batteries, which can easily be replaced if need be. This thing is pretty robust. There's some good weight to it. It does actually kind of feel like one of those old school Nokia phones. It also comes with a pair of SD cards, or rather micro SD cards, that you can utilize for setup and for backups and everything like that. Now, this device does not come with a native app, and I would say that is actually to its benefit because it can focus on the software on the device itself, not have to worry about dealing with an app that they have to then maintain. The way you use this is you actually pair it with other types of software. So today we're going to be utilizing two possible setups, one with Blue Wallet on a mobile device rather, and the other with Sparrow Wallet on a desktop computer. And we're just going to take a look at what it takes to effectively import an account from this device to an app so you can interact with your funds. Now, another note here is that this thing never actually plugs into a phone or a computer. It is done through a process called air gapping, which means you are setting up the transaction on something that is internet connected, saying, hey, I want to send this money from here in my wallet to here to this address. You set up that on your internet connected device. It then takes that information and puts it into a QR code, which you can scan with the foundation passport and say, hey, this is what I'd like to do. Can you sign and approve this transaction? At which point it will create a new QR code, basically with the approved signature allowing you to do so, which you can then scan with the app that you are using. So the keys that reside on this device that protect your money are never leaked via that QR code signing process. So we'll take a look deeper into that as we get going, but I wanted to familiarize you with that. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you guys has to do with a little bit of the setup here. Now, I've already utilized this device and played around with it because I obviously had to learn about it as I was using it. And unfortunately, and I guess fortunately, it's a security feature, not a bug. But the first time you boot it up, you do have supply chain validation that goes on to ensure that this device was actually from Foundation and not kind of swapped in with an alternative device on the way to your home. And what that looks like is when you turn it on for the first time, you can go to this validate.foundationdevices.com. You scan it with your Foundation passport, this QR code on the screen, and then your device will show you 4 words, which you then type in here. And if it's indeed from Foundation itself, then those words should match up and should be validated by this website here. If they are not, then there is an issue with your device and it may have fallen into somebody else's hands on the way to you. So just know that that's part of the process there. And also, upon setting up and starting this device for the first time, you're also asked to set up a PIN. Basically, you just put in a 6 to 12 digit PIN number the very first time. And in that process, it will give you 2 words that are kind of effectively making sure that your device has not been tampered with. And upon setting that up, you should either write down or just really remember those words. They should be familiar to you so that partway through putting your PIN in, it will say, hey, do you recognize these 2 words? And if you do, you confirm and you continue putting in the rest of your PIN. And again, this is if you had set it up and then somebody tinkered with the device in between using it, those words would then appear differently. There's also a warning light at the very top, which you will see when we turn it on, but it's up here. That is blue, but if anything is wrong, if there's evidence of tampering, it will be red. So there's a variety of different security features on this thing to make sure that nobody is actually physically tampered with it and kind of screwed you around here. Let's dive into the actual device itself, turn it on, and see what we're dealing with. Okay, so on the device here, the power button is in the bottom left. It is also the back button, but you simply hold it for a couple seconds here. Turns on pretty quickly, and you can see the light that I was talking about up top. And pretty quick, you're right into it. Now, as I said, upon receiving this and playing with it the first time, you do have to set up a PIN right away. So I've already done so with just a simplistic PIN for this video. So, and you'll see as I put it in, the first 4 digits, it then confirms 2 words that should be familiar to me. So I've seen these words before or written them down and kept them somewhere just as a reminder. You don't have to have these words to recover the device in any way, shape, or form, but they're just, again, that security mechanism. So I do recognize those, so I hit the confirm button, and then I continue with the rest of my PIN, and then when I'm finished typing it in, I hit enter. Now, beyond here, this device is wiped and not set up. So let's just kind of take a look at what's in front of us. We're also going to cover updating this to the latest firmware, which it is currently updated, but I will show you that process as well. In front of us, you basically have a few settings here. You can create a brand new seed or a brand new wallet. You can restore a seed, otherwise known as your backup phrase, the words that you typically write down when setting up a Bitcoin wallet. You can restore a backup, so you can actually back up this device using an SD card, which is a little bit different from the way you typically might back up something. And then you have your settings screen. You can select that and go in, and you see about, you see firmware, which we're going to update in a moment. You can change your screen brightness. You can change the amount of time before it auto shuts down, and you can change the PIN. And in doing so, in changing the PIN, it will change those two security words that you see. Okay, so again, that is just a security mechanism to make sure that it hasn't been tampered with, but it does change if you change the PIN at a later date. So just know that. So let's talk about doing the actual update of the firmware. So I'm gonna bring up my desktop again here for a second, and right here. So here on the support.foundationdevices.com, they have a setup guide, okay? And within that setup guide, they also have your latest firmware. So you can actually download this firmware right here, and you could download it to your desktop. It'll just look like a file like this, and then you just plunk in your SD card and drag this file over to it, and that's the most you have to do, okay? At that point, you can then defer to your actual device, which we will now, and I'm just gonna grab the SD card here, which already has that file that I showed you on my desktop. It already has that sitting on it. So we take the SD card, we're going to plunk it in the top, just so you know the pins will be facing forward on this, just so you're not tinkering around with it too much. Anyways, I plug that into the top. As we saw in the settings menu, we select that, and then you go to firmware, then you go to update firmware, which is the top one. You select that. And then it says on the next screen, select the firmware file you want to install. I hit continue, and we can see there's that file that I added to the SD card. So I would then select that, and it would go through the installation process. But since we're already up to date, we do not need to do that. I can just back to the main screen, and I can pull out that SD card. And that's how you update the device if you need to. Highly recommend you do that when you first receive it, to make sure that you're on the latest. And now we can dive into actually setting this thing up for use. So what we're going to do here is we're going to create a new seed. So this top option here, and we're going to hit select. So it says it's now time to create a backup of our seed. We recommend backing up the passport to the 2 included micro SD cards. So you can have 2 backups if you so choose. And then if you scroll down, it says experienced users can always view and record the 24-word seed in the advanced settings menu. So we'll jump to that in a moment, but let's see what the backup process with the SD card is first. So I'm going to hit continue. It says insert micro SD card. I've got one right here. We just plunk that in the top as we did before, and then we hit continue. Now let's create a backup of your seed. We recommend backing up the passport again to the 2 included. Continue. Passport is about to create your first encrypted micro SD backup. The next screen will show you the password that is required, again in bold here, required to access the backup. We recommend blah, blah, blah. Put the password in cloud storage or a password manager. We consider this safe since physical access to the micro SD card is required to access the backup. So basically what they're trying to do here is add an additional layer of security so that if somebody gets a hold of your backup on the SD card, they still do not have enough to access your funds. Okay, so I'm going to hit continue. And this gives me a list of 6 words, which I then need to write down, back up wherever I plan to do so, and have it somewhere safe for me to access them. So I'm just going to jot those, and then we'll continue on and hit next. Okay, great. So I jotted those down. I'm going to hit next. And then it says select word 1 of 6. And I just go through, I find the one that is correct and hit select. Then it moves on to word 2, and we do this for all 6 words. Okay, and then we can now see backup is successful. Do you want to make an additional backup? If so, insert another micro SD card. So at that point, you would pull this one out and you would hit yes, and then it would take you through the process again. However, I'm not going to do that right now. We're going to leave that be. I've now got my backup here as an SD card, and I've got the password to access this. Later on, we will practice backing or restoring that with the SD card here. I'm going to hit no for now, and setup is complete. We're all good and ready to go. Now, what if you would like to back up your passport via the regular 24-word backup phrase? You can do so by dropping down to settings, select, all the way down to advanced, select, and then you can see view seed words, and this will give you, the next screen will show you your seed words, and if defined, your passphrase, if you do have a passphrase attached to them. Anyone who knows these words can control your funds. Do you want to display this sensitive information? If you hit that, then you will be shown 24 words, which would be like the backup of a regular Bitcoin wallet. You write those down, you keep those safe, or you back them up on something like the BillFodl in steel, and you can keep them that way. This is an alternative to the SD card that we've already done here. You could do both if you really wanted. So I'm not going to show those seed words right now, but just know that is an option with the passport if that is a more comfortable option for you. And I do like utilizing the seed words, so I would probably go with an SD card for myself, and then also a regular backup of those words, and just store them separately. Anyways, that is just me. I'm going to back out of here, and now you know how to back up the entire device. And we're back to the main screen, and let's actually start using this thing with some software. So I've got Blue Wallet pulled up here on my phone. I've done a full video previously on Blue Wallet before. I encourage you to look back at that if you're unfamiliar and you want to learn how to use just this mobile wallet itself. But we can pair this with our Foundation Passport. We can do that pretty easily. All we do from within this wallet is there's a little plus button up top, or if you've never used it before, there'll be add account somewhere in the middle here. But regardless, I can hit the plus button. At this point, we can name the wallet. I'm just going to name it, I'll just name it Passport, I suppose. And at this point, I'm going to hit the import wallet button. I'm not going to select any of the above options. Now, at this point, on the Foundation, what I can do is I'm going to scroll down to where it says Pair Wallet. Second from the bottom, I'm going to hit Select. And then it gives us some options. We could do Bitcoin Core, Blue Wallet, BTC Pay, Electrum, Sparrow, and Wasabi. We are using Blue Wallet right now, and these are just some of the options at the time of making this video. I imagine those will expand, and there will be plenty more in the future, but already a pretty good selection. So I'm going to hit Blue Wallet. And single sig, we're going to use, we will touch on what multisig can do later. So I'm going to hit Select. And it says QR code or micro SD. This means that you can export the wallet either by scanning a QR code or putting a file on an SD card. We're going to use the more convenient one, QR code. And it says next, scan the QR code on the following screen into Blue Wallet. So I'm going to hit continue. And it's going to bring up this rotating QR code. Great. Here within Blue Wallet, down at the bottom, it says scan or import file, which I can tap on. That opens up my camera, and we just hold this up. It says importing wallet. Perfect. It has been imported. Actually, we'll need to rename it there. It has a serial number or something attached to it. On the device itself, I can hit done. And that is that. Okay. And it says, let's check that the wallet was paired successfully. It says generate a new receive address in Blue Wallet and scan the QR code on the next page. I like that they have this because it confirms that the addresses, the receiving addresses on Blue Wallet here actually are going to a an account that is associated with the keys on this separate device. So all I do is within Blue Wallet at the bottom, I hit receive. This is going to give me a regular QR code that you could send Bitcoin to. And on the passport, I'm going to hit continue. And it actually, you can kind of see it's black and white, but I can scan the QR code here. It says address verified, pairing complete, everything is all good. So now this passport is effectively the keys to the account that is sitting in Blue Wallet. And if I want to receive, all I need is Blue Wallet itself. But if I want to send out, then I will need to approve it with my passport. So let's jump into what that looks like. Okay, so just starting fresh here, we're going to open up Blue Wallet as if we had already been using it and maybe there were other accounts. And so you can see I have some other accounts sitting here, a regular Bitcoin wallet, a Lightning wallet, and there is our passport. So when I tap on that, that gives me all of the functions of actually utilizing the passport, primarily a balance up top, which can be in Bitcoin or sats or dollars or whatever your local currency is. And then a list of transactions down below. Once I've executed some, they'll show up here. And then my receive and send buttons. Pretty simple. So I want to receive some money into my passport via this account. As before, we hit receive. We're greeted with a QR code, which anybody with a Bitcoin wallet could scan. We're also greeted with a string of digits, which is a receiving address. And to copy that, I can just tap and copy. I'm going to jump over to another wallet that I have called Green Wallet. Also, if you're curious about Green Wallet and you want to learn about it, I've done a full tutorial on this and I will link it in the show notes. But I can tap on my Bitcoin wallet, put in a pin just off screen here, and I'll be able to send to the address that I just copied over in Blue Wallet. So I'm going to hit send. I could scan here. So we saw that QR code before. I could scan there, or I could paste in the address that I just copied. And I made note of the first few and last digits just to make sure everything looks good here. And then I'm going to hit add amount. At this point, I'm going to send over a Canadian dollar amount just because it's easier for me to do that math in my head. But I'll send over maybe $25. Okay. And I'll set my fee since we're doing a video here and I want this to confirm quickly. I'll do a quicker fee here. I'm going to hit review. Great, you're sending this amount of sats to this address for this fee. That all looks good to me. I'm going to slide to send, and there is a two-factor authentication with Green Wallet, so I'll be sure to do that. All right, so that has been sent off, and we should see it pop up in Blue Wallet momentarily. Close out that QR code, and we'll just swipe down to refresh. And there we see a pending transaction, which will soon be approved, or rather confirmed on the Bitcoin blockchain, and then be spendable out of our passport. So we'll come back as soon as that confirms. So we now have a confirmation on Blue Wallet here. These funds are spendable. We can send them out wherever we like. So we're going to practice and see what that looks like doing so, utilizing Blue Wallet to send a portion of this back to our Green Wallet, but also using the passport to approve said transaction. Okay, so all I'm going to do is we'll jump back to Green here. I'm going to hit receive and get our address. We'll just copy. Okay, now I'm going to jump back and I'm going to hit the send button. And how much would I like to send? We'll do it in dollars here. Maybe I'll send $10 or so. Okay, and I will paste in the address I just copied. Again, make note of the first and last few digits, and I'll set my fee here. 3 sats per byte should do me. I'll leave that. I'll hit next. Now, this is a partially signed Bitcoin transaction. It shows up as a QR code, a rotating QR code. And so on the passport here, what I need to do is I need to select the top option, which is sign with a QR code. and I'm going to hit select. At this point, I can scan that rotating QR code. Now it says, hey, it looks like you are trying to send this amount of Bitcoin to this destination. Is that correct? I can hit continue. Now it says this is the amount of change that will remain in your address and be put in this this Bitcoin address for you. That looks okay. And the network fee will be this much. Okay, that looks good. Now I can either go back if I don't agree with this, or I can hit sign. So I'm going to hit sign. So this then signs the transaction, and the QR code that you're seeing now is the same information of where the Bitcoin is going, but this time with the approval from this device and the signature necessary to make that work. So what I can do within Blue Wallet now is just below it says scan signed transaction. And so that opens up my camera. I can hold this in front. There we go. Okay, so at this point it says this is your transactions hex. It's signed and ready to be broadcasted to the network. So I can copy and broadcast this later. It doesn't need to be sent out right away. I could verify all the information here and make sure it's legit, or I can hit send now. I'm okay to hit send now, so I'm just going to hit send, and off it goes. So let's just appreciate what we did here for a moment. I'm going to hit done. But effectively, what we did is we put together a transaction, detailed what we wanted to do, where we wanted to send a certain amount of Bitcoin, and then we used this device without having to plug it in at all. We gave it the information necessary, letting it know what we wanted to do, and we were able to review that information, approve it, and sign it, and then send back that signed transaction to Blue Wallet here, never risking the actual keys to the rest of our money. What we sent over was an approval to only send the funds that we had designated, to send that $10 out and nothing more. That's it. So even if somebody got a hold of this information here, all they could do would be to send that $10 worth of Bitcoin to the address that we had designated. So on the device, I can hit done, and we're back to the main screen. And let's jump over to Green Wallet. We'll back out here, and we can see that new transaction coming in, and that'll be confirmed shortly. All said and done, nice and easy, receiving and then sending Bitcoin to and from our Foundation Passport. Now let's look at what that might look like via some other software on our desktop. This is Sparrow Wallet for desktop. And what we're going to do here is we're actually going to import our passport, our Foundation Passport, to be utilized in this software, just to show the difference between this and Blue Wallet. So to do that, we're going to go to File, and we're going to go down to Import Wallet. Now at this point, you have a variety of different options, and kudos to the Sparrow Wallet for implementing so many different options here. But if we scroll down, we can see Wallet Import. We can do a passport, and it has the option to scan. And much like we did with Blue Wallet, we just go to the device, and we can go down to Pair Wallet, select, and we have the option near the bottom for Sparrow, and we select that. And again, we're going to do single sig, and we have the option for QR code or micro SD. You can see our options here within Sparrow. We can scan or we can import a file. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and scan, and I may need to go to monitor only because I need to free up my camera here. But I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to hit the passport scan button. Okay, perfect. And so this is using my my webcam here on my Mac. So just on the device, I'm just selecting QR code and hitting continue. And this generates that rotating QR code as we saw before. But I just hold it up. I let it scan. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so now I can hit import right here. And I'm just going to leave this name as, let's see, what do I want? I'll just call it passport 1, and we'll hit create wallet. And do you want a password for this? You can set a password. I'm not going to right now, given that it's already a hardware wallet. And here's the beautiful thing, is it shows our previous transactions that we just did. So this imports the exact account that we were dealing with before, and everything is all right in front of us. Now, just like normal, you have your receive screen and you have your send screen, a little bit different from what you were dealing with Blue Wallet, but the general concepts are still the same. Now, on the device itself, let me bring back up my my camera here. On the device itself, we're still on that QR code screen. We're just going to hit done. And here it says, let's double check to make sure that this paired correctly. Bring up a receiving address on Sparrow Wallet, and we'll scan it to see if that works. So I'm going to hit receive, and I'm currently scanning with the passport. I'm just going to scan off screen here, that little QR code in the top right of Sparrow. It says pairing complete. It went through it kind of quick. I couldn't show it in time, but it says that the address was correct and that the pairing is now complete. So everything is all good and ready to go with the passport. So we can use this with our passport and Sparrow Wallet. So just to prove that we can do so, of course, we already have the receiving QR code. We know how that works. We know how to send to that. But what does it look like to send out of Sparrow? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to send the remaining Bitcoin out of Sparrow. So off to the side here, I am just getting a receiving address. There we go. So I'm sitting in Green Wallet. I'm going to hit receive, and I've got a QR code right here queued up. So within Sparrow Wallet, I can open my camera and I can scan to get that address. I'll just double check it. It looks good to me. Okay. I can then label said transaction, which we'll just call it Green Wallet, and this is for your own records. Nobody else gets this. Now, how much do we want to send? We can specify an amount of sats, an amount of Bitcoin, whichever, or we can hit max. I'll just hit max there. And then our fee, we can set, we can drag, and this is length of time that it's going to be before it reaches the destination. We could also set, a specific fee rate if we wanted to, but I think I'm just going to slide this. 4 sats per byte is probably good. And so it then shows here, this is what I like about Sparrow too. It says, okay, you would be sending this amount of sats from here to this destination. And it also shows that there would be a fee in there. If there were change coming back to me, it would show that. And it shows kind of this really cool, like graphic of how the transaction will be broken down. Now, you can also, for your fee, you can change that. You can switch it up, target number of blocks. So you can play around with that a lot here, back and forth if you choose to do so. But that all looks good to me. I'm going to hit create transaction. Now, it says, it gives our kind of a breakdown of our transaction. Signing wallet is the passport. I can finalize for signing. And now it says you need a signature. How are you going to approve this transaction? And again, on the device, I can pull it up here. I can go all the way up to the top option, which is sign with QR code or sign with micro SD. I'm going to do the easier option, because these QR codes are just so damn convenient. But what we're going to do is we're going to hit show QR, and I'm going to, on the device, select sign with QR code. So just like with Blue Wallet, I'm scanning it on the device. And we get a quick review of the transaction. Hey, it looks like you're sending this amount of Bitcoin to this destination. Does that look good? I hit yes and continue. Change, there's not going to be any change because we're sending the total amount. And the network fee is going to be as follows. And I'm going to hit sign. And this then creates the fully signed transaction. Okay, so at this point, I can close what was on the screen here, and I can hit scan QR within Sparrow Wallet because I'm now going to scan the signed transaction. I'm going to hold that up here. There we go. And so it has now been brought into Sparrow Wallet, the fully signed transaction. I can view the final transaction. And it says all of the information that is in front of me here about everything, where it's going. And I can then broadcast the transaction, which I will do now. And off it is sent. So this transaction is now done. I can, it opens as its own little window here. I can close this out. And now I'm back in my passport. I can go up top to transactions. And we can see that there is a transaction headed out into Green Wallet. So I'm going to hit done on the passport. We no longer need this. And while we're at it, let's jump back to Green. And I can see there that there's a new incoming transaction. And if I just go to my regular camera, you can see there's a new incoming transaction right there for those sats coming back in. So we've successfully used the Foundation Passport with Blue Wallet and with Sparrow on desktop seamlessly and imported the full account and everything very, very easily between the two. So one of the final major features and setups I'd like to cover here with the Foundation Passport is setting up a multi-signature vault. And this involves having multiple devices or multiple signatures required to sign and approve a transaction. In this case, we're going to be using Blue Wallet on mobile. We're going to be using the Foundation Passport, and we're also going to be using the Keystone Wallet, just to kind of show how multiple devices, including the Foundation, can be used in tandem to create something like this. In this case, we're doing something that is a 2 of 3 multisig quorum. This means there are 3 possible keys, one on your phone, one on the Passport, and one on the Keystone, and you need at least 2 of them, and in most instances, it will be the one on the phone and one of these devices, in this case the Foundation, required to approve a transaction. So if you have at least access to 2 of these keys, you will be fine. Okay. Now this is just an example of how you could set it up. You can also do it via Sparrow. You can also do it via other software implementations. But again, this is just meant to illustrate as an example a way that you could utilize the Foundation Passport in a setup like this. So we're going to start on Blue Wallet. And again, we're going to hit the plus sign to create a new wallet. We're going to create a vault. And we'll just call it Test Vault. Perfect. And we're going to hit Create. And so this says it's 2 of 3. You can change that to any setting you like. You could have 2 of 2. You could have 3 of 5. I like 2 of 3 because it's the ease of use of having it, and it's kind of also we'll say user error resistant, in that you could lose a lot of different things and still have this okay. As long as you have the setup and 2 of the keys, you're going to be fine. Okay, so this is where you would change the settings, vault settings. You can change it to 2 of 2 or 3 of 5 or whatever, but we're going to leave it as is, and we're going to click Let's Start. And so on the device here, you can create a new key, which would reside here on the phone, or you can import one. And we're going to start by creating a new one on the phone. Perfect. Now this gives you a backup here. This gives you a regular 12-word seed, which you can write down and back up just as you would a regular Bitcoin wallet. And that is part of the seed or part of the key, one of the keys needed to approve a transaction. So I'll write this down off screen here.
A few moments later.
And then once written down, I can move on to the next one. So I'll hit done. And now Vault Key 2. And this is where we're going to utilize the passport. So I'll just re-put in the PIN number here. Okay, so once again now, we're going to go down to Pair Wallet. We're going to go to Blue Wallet. And now instead of selecting single sig, we're going to select multi-sig. And again, you have the option for micro SD if you want to use it, but we're going to do QR code. And it says we're going to scan the QR code from the following screen into Blue Wallet. So I'm going to hit continue. And here on Blue Wallet, we're going to click import and scan or import a file. Perfect. So we now have a key on the phone. We have a key on our device here. I'm going to hit done on the passport. And on the passport, it says I'm going to import the configuration from Blue Wallet via QR code. We're going to need to do that in a minute because we're not quite done yet. We need another key to start creating this full to create the entire Multisig Vault. So we're going to jump over to our Keystone. And now I've done a full video on Keystone. I do highlight how to use multisig in other instances, but I'm not going to go too deep into detail here, but I am going to go to Multisig Wallet, and I'm going to be creating one on the phone itself. 2 of 3, same thing, understood. And I just need to share the existing keys with this device here. So a little bit of a different process, but again, I'm not going to go too in depth with this here. And share number 2. Okay, and then I want to share the final key from the Keystone into Blue Wallet. So same thing, I'm going to hit import here, scan, and I'm going to scan from Keystone. Perfect. Now I'm going to hit create. Okay, and so now we've created a Multisig Vault. We have one more step left, the test vault. I want to go into it and I want to go to the top right, and I'm going to hit export coordination setup on the foundation. I'm going to hit continue and hit export coordination setup. I'm going to scan the QR code with my passport. Okay, so here it's saying, hey, do you want to create a new multisig wallet? There's the wallet name is test vault. Policy is 2 of 3, and it shows kind of all of the different extended public keys. Okay, so I'm going to hit continue. And it says, let's check if the wallet was paired successfully. So as we've done in the past, I can close out of this on the Blue Wallet. And we're going to hit receive, and we're going to test if this address is actually truly linked with the passport. So that looks good. We'll hit continue, and I can scan this, and hopefully it tells us address is verified. The account configuration has been modified. Do you want to make a new micro SD backup? Now this is particularly useful because you've now created a new wallet a Multisig wallet within the Passport. So you can, again, back that information up to your SD card and have it ready for you as a backup option. I actually do want to do that. I want to advise you to do the same. And the reason I say that is because what you've effectively done is you've taken bits of information from 3 different devices and you have put them all together to create a map to a digital vault. And if you were to lose the entirety of one of these keys, so like let's say I lost my Keystone and I lost the backup to my Keystone, and I wanted to sign a transaction and I didn't have the wallet set up on Blue Wallet, maybe I deleted the app, I wouldn't be able to recreate that map. In other words, I wouldn't know where my money was. So I want a kind of a secondary backup of that information, and that's what we're creating here. I'm going to hit yes to back up to the microSD. Passport is about to create an updated microSD backup. Password is the same as you previously recorded. Okay, I'm going to hit continue, encrypting, backup successful. So now I've not only backed up my regular Bitcoin wallet, but I've also backed up the Multisig here. So that is all for the setup here. I am done with that setup. It's all set and everything is ready to go. So now we can look at actually receiving to and sending out of our Multisig wallet in Blue Wallet. Now we're already in the Multisig wallet. We've already got a receiving address in front of us. So let's just use that. We'll copy it. We'll jump back out and we'll go to Green Wallet and open that again. And just like all of the other examples, we're going to send to the address that we copied. And I'll send about $25 here and paste it in and off it goes. And I should, within Blue Wallet, if I refresh, there we go. New unconfirmed transaction, which now shows in my list of transactions, we've received money into this Multisig Vault that is put together with keys from the Blue Wallet, from Foundation, and from Keystone. And in a moment, once it confirms, we will try sending out and using our phone and the Foundation Passport as the 2 devices that will approve and send off this transaction. We've now received our confirmation and we're ready to send these funds back out and sign with 2 of the 3 keys that we put together for this Multisig. So we will jump into Green Wallet here. We'll get a quick receive address and copy it. We'll jump back to Blue. We'll hit send as usual. We're going to use the full balance this time. And we're going to paste in that address we just copied. And we'll set our fee. It looks like the mempool is pretty empty right now, so low fee. That's nice to see. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to hit next. And so what this defaults to is signing with the key on the device itself, so on the phone itself. So it auto adds a signature. And now I need to just pull one other signature from one of the 2 devices that I had used before, the Keystone or the Foundation. And since I'm covering the Foundation device here, that's what I'm going to be using. So really simply, on Blue Wallet, I'm going to hit provide signature. And this gives all the information of, hey, you are trying to send this amount of money from here to there, and we need approval. And that's what the Foundation is here to do. So within the Foundation, just like normal, I'm going to select the top option, sign with QR code. I'm then going to scan what is on my phone here. Okay, and it says, hey, it looks like you're sending this amount of Bitcoin to this destination. There's going to be no change from this, and the network fee is as follows. Would you like to sign it? I can go back or I can sign, so I'm going to sign. All right, and that generates a new QR code with all the same information, but now with approval from my Foundation Passport. So on Blue Wallet, I'm going to hit scan or import file. That allows me to scan the Foundation. And now you can see we have 2 of 3 possible signatures, which is enough to approve the transaction. Now we can export this and use it later or save it or whatever we prefer, or we can just simply hit confirm at the bottom and send off the transaction, which I'm going to do. It gives us one last, hey, you're sending this amount to this address. By the way, if you're seeing a discrepancy in dollar amounts here, Blue Wallet is currently set to denominate in US dollars, whereas my green wallet was set to Canadian dollars. So if you've seen that through this video, that's what's going on there, just so you know. Fee is about 6 cents. Everything looks good. Let's send. And off we go. That is it. We have successfully created and utilized a multi-sig setup using Blue Wallet, the foundation, and the Keystone all in one, and then signed with Blue Wallet and our foundation. And that's that. If we hop over to green and update, there's our incoming transaction that we just sent. Beautiful, simple, easy to sign. I can hit done here, and that bumps us right back to the main page, and that's it. So just a few other things I want to cover here with the Foundation Passport, particularly in and around the settings. So if we go down to settings and select, then I wanted to touch briefly on accounts here. So if you select accounts, this allows you to have multiple accounts within the same Foundation Passport with the same backup seed phrase. So if I hit new account, you can number the accounts. This is account number, the other one was account 0. This is account 1. I'll hit enter. You can give it a name. We'll just call it, oh man, old school texting with multiple clicks. Test, and we'll hit save. Shout out Nokia. The account configuration has been modified. Do you want to make a new micro SD backup? So this means that you would have a secondary backup added to, or I guess a tertiary backup, given we did a multisig one as well. You would then back that up to your SD card as well. I'm going to hit no for now because I'm not going to use this. And so on this screen, you can select which account you want to be using, and that would then reflect differently in Blue Wallet. You would add it as a new wallet in Blue Wallet if you chose to do so. Okay, but we will go back to using the primary account. Now, also in advanced, I want to show here you can go and you can erase the passport. So you can erase all information here except for the PIN, which you can still change after the fact, as you can see up top. But I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I just want to show you what it looks like to reload using the SD card to import that old backup that we created. So I'm going to hit select. Are you sure you want to erase this passport? All funds will be lost if not backed up. I'm going to hit yes. And without proper backup, this action will cause you to lose funds. Please confirm and understand the risk. Confirm. Okay, so this bumps me back out. I'm still on the same firmware version. I still have the same PIN number, as you'll see here. Confirm. But once I get into the actual device, there won't be any accounts present. In terms of restoring a backup after you've wiped the device, or if you were to replace the device and have a backup on an SD card, you can go ahead and do that one of two ways. Number one is to restore the seed phrase. So remember, we talked about how you can go into advanced and actually write down your 24-word seed or store it however you like, and then you would go here and type it in manually. Or you can restore from backup via the SD card that we did before. You would select that. You would insert the SD card up top as before. Once inserted, hit continue. And then you select the backup file there. And then you're going to be required to put in those 6 words, the password that you wrote down before, that will then restore all your accounts. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and do this right now. I'm just going to go back and jump out of that. But that is how you would restore the backup into your passport. Thank you guys so much for watching. Of course, if you found that helpful, I hope you did. Be sure to share it around, like and subscribe as well. All those things really do help get more eyeballs on this type of content. If you want to help the show in another way, you can hit up the previously mentioned sponsors down below. That was LEDN, Bitbuy, Bitrefill, Keystone, and of course the BillFodl, and I will have links down below, so if you choose to check out Foundation, they will be front and center for you to find. And finally, if you really liked what you saw, you can always drop me a Bitcoin tip at my Strike page, which is strike.me/BTC sessions. Once you hit that link, you can type in any amount you like, you hit the tip button, and you will be greeted with a Lightning QR request, or if you click over to the right, a regular Bitcoin address. And it's super simple, easy to use. I also do have a tutorial on Strike if you're looking to get into that as well. And with that, I thank you guys one more time. Have a wonderful day or evening wherever you may be, and I'll see you guys next time for your daily session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.